The glossy conference room at YouTube's San Bruno campus buzzed with excitement. Executive assistants rushed around with tablets, lawyers reviewed final documents, and PR teams prepared statements. At the center of it all, I sat quietly, watching Jackson Reynolds, my former best friend and business partner, fidget with his expensive watch. Just a few more signatures, the YouTube acquisitions director said cheerfully, and BuzzView Network will officially be part of the YouTube family. Jackson forced a smile, but the strain showed. His once successful network of entertainment channels was hemorrhaging viewers, advertiser confidence had collapsed, and his investors were demanding an exit strategy. This acquisition was his salvation, not the triumphant billion-dollar deal he'd once bragged about at industry events, but a face-saving measure that would at least keep his investors from total loss. "Alex," he said, turning to me with practiced charm, "I still don't understand why you're here. This is between BuzzView and YouTube." I smiled, sliding the final contract across the table. "Actually, Jackson, YouTube isn't acquiring BuzzView. I am, through my company, Viral Core Technologies." The blood drained from his face as he read the paperwork, recognition dawning slowly. This is impossible. Viral Core is worth billions. You own it, I finished for him. All of it. 3 years earlier, I had been a struggling content creator with a passionate following but constant battles against YouTube's mysterious algorithm. My educational channel exploring scientific concepts through eye-catching experiments had quality content but remained stubbornly underpromoted. Meanwhile, clickbait and controversy seemed to thrive. Jackson, my roommate from college and co-creator of our channel, had grown impatient. "This isn't working, Alex," he had declared one rainy evening in our shared apartment that doubled as a studio. "We've been at this for 2 years and barely have 100,000 subscribers." "The content is good," I insisted. "The algorithm just doesn't understand what we're creating. It's designed for different metrics." "Then let's give it what it wants," Jackson argued. "More drama, more clickbait, more controversy. That's what gets views." But I couldn't sacrifice quality for clicks. Instead, I began studying the algorithm itself, how it processed data, recognized patterns, and made recommendations. Late nights of coding turned into months of research as I built a model that could not only predict how the algorithm would respond to content but optimize videos to work with it rather than against it. Jackson saw only the declining ad revenue and my distraction from producing videos. "This is insane," he had shouted during our final argument. "You're wasting time on some theoretical project while our channel dies." The next day, he locked me out of our channel, rebranded it as the first property in his new BuzzView network, and brought in investors to expand. His parting text message was simple: "Taking the channel in a more profitable direction. Your share of equipment is in storage. Good luck." Within months, BuzzView grew into a network of entertainment channels that initially thrived by chasing trends and controversy. Meanwhile, I refined my algorithm predictor into something more powerful, an entirely new recommendation engine that understood quality, context, and viewer satisfaction beyond simple engagement metrics. When I presented my technology at a small developer conference, I expected moderate interest. Instead, I found myself surrounded by tech executives by day's end. 3 months later, Viral Core Technologies launched with $50 million in venture funding. A year after that, we were powering recommendation systems for 3 major streaming platforms. "The documentation is all there," I told Jackson now, bringing myself back to the present moment. "Viral Core is acquiring BuzzView Network as a case study for our algorithm optimization services." "You planned this," he accused, hands shaking slightly. "You've been waiting for us to fail." "No," I corrected calmly. "I've been building something that works while you've been chasing shortcuts. Your failure was your own." The YouTube executives watched our exchange with poorly disguised fascination. Most knew pieces of the story. The industry had buzzed with rumors about the mysterious founder of Viral Core and my history with Jackson. "Mr. Reynolds," the acquisition director interjected gently, "perhaps we should focus on completing the transaction. Your investors are expecting closure today." Jackson signed the papers with a barely suppressed fury. As he stood to leave, he leaned close to me. "You think this makes us even? You have no idea how to run a content network." "I don't mean to," I replied. "That's not why I bought BuzzView." After Jackson stormed out, the YouTube chief product officer turned to me. I assume this acquisition is related to our larger discussion. I nodded. BuzzView will be our demonstration case. We'll apply the Viral Core algorithm to its channels and show exactly how content quality can be optimized without sacrificing creator integrity. And the implementation across our main platform. Phase 1 can begin next month, as discussed. The full integration will take approximately 1 year. As we finished the meeting, my phone buzzed with a notification. My personal YouTube channel, the one I had started from scratch after being locked out by Jackson, had just crossed 5 million subscribers. The latest video explaining how recommendation algorithms shape online culture was trending worldwide. Outside in the California sunshine, I took a moment to absorb what had just happened. When Jackson had stolen our channel and rebranded it as BuzzView, it had felt like the end of everything I'd worked for. Now I understood it had merely been the beginning. 6 months later, I stood on stage at VidCon, the world's largest convention for online video creators. Thousands of content creators, from teenagers with dreams to established stars with millions of followers, filled the auditorium. The algorithm isn't your enemy, I explained, displaying visualizations of recommendation patterns behind me. But it's also not designed to recognize true quality without help. That's what ViralCore's integration with YouTube is changing. The audience leaned forward, hungry for insights. Many had experienced the same frustrations I had, creating content they believed in, only to see it buried while more sensationalistic videos thrived. 3 key principles drive our approach, I continued. First, context matters, not just keywords and click rates, but the actual substance of what you're creating. Second, viewer satisfaction over time outweighs momentary engagement. And third, creator consistency builds algorithm trust. In the front row, I spotted McKeenan Johnson, a science communicator whose thoughtful videos had struggled for visibility until recently. Under the new algorithm implementation, her channel had grown from 200,000 to 3 million subscribers in 4 months. Beside her sat Deshaun Williams, whose educational content about financial literacy now reached the audiences who needed it most, rather than being sidelined for flashier get-rich-quick content. The first phase of implementation has already shown results, I said, displaying a graph. Educational content discoverability up 78%. Creator satisfaction with recommendation accuracy improved by 62%. And most importantly, viewer long-term engagement, people finding channels they continue to watch and value month after month, has increased by 43%. What I didn't mention explicitly was how dramatically BuzzView's channels had transformed under the new system. Rather than chasing daily trends, we had refocused them on quality content with substance. Initially, viewership had dropped, terrifying Jackson's former investors, but within 3 months, a more dedicated audience had emerged, one that actually watched full videos rather than clicking and leaving. After my presentation, as I navigated through crowds of creators eager to talk, a familiar face appeared, Sasha, my first subscriber from years ago, when Jackson and I had started our original channel. "I knew you'd figure it out," she said, giving me a quick hug. "Jackson never understood what made your videos special. It wasn't the flashy experiments, it was the integrity behind them." "Thanks for sticking with me," I replied, genuinely moved. Those early subscribers kept me going, especially after the restart. "Speaking of Jackson," she said hesitantly, "have you seen his new project?" I hadn't. After the acquisition, Jackson had received his payout and disappeared from the industry conversation. What's he up to? He's trying to start a competitor to YouTube, calling it Uncensored Stream or something. Claims it will prioritize creators over algorithms. I couldn't help but laugh at the irony. Good luck competing with the platform now powered by ViralCore. Later that evening, I hosted a dinner for 20 creators whose work particularly exemplified what we were trying to achieve with the new recommendation system. As we enjoyed the meal, conversation flowed about their creative processes, the challenges they'd overcome, and their visions for the future. "Before ViralCore," said Lewis, a history educator with elaborate production values, "I was ready to quit. Putting 40 hours into a video that got buried immediately just wasn't sustainable. My content on women's health kept getting flagged inappropriately," added Dr. Patel, a medical educator. "Now it's actually reaching young women who need accurate information." Looking around the table, I I felt a deep satisfaction that transcended the business success of Viral Core. These were the voices that deserved amplification, thoughtful, responsible creators making content that actually improved viewers' lives. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Realstream acquires Jackson Reynolds' struggling startup for undisclosed sum. Realstream was known for buying failed video platforms at bargain prices, usually for their user data rather than their technology. I set my phone aside without sharing the news. Jackson's story wasn't relevant to our celebration tonight. 1 year after the YouTube integration began, I returned to the small apartment where Jackson and I had started our original channel. I had kept it, even through Viral Core's success and my ability to afford much more luxurious accommodations. Something about the worn furniture and makeshift lighting setup kept me grounded. The living room wall still had pencil marks where we'd mapped out our first content calendar. The kitchen table, now valuable antique wood but then just a cheap secondhand find, still bore coffee stains from our late-night planning sessions. I set up my camera in the familiar corner and began recording. 5 years ago, I started making videos in this exact spot, believing that quality educational content deserved an audience. When that dream was taken from me, I didn't give up. I aimed higher. Today, I want to talk about resilience, algorithms, and the future of creator culture. The video wasn't for Viral Core marketing or a tech presentation. It was simply me returning to my roots as a creator, sharing what I'd learned along my journey. 3 hours after posting, it hit 1 million views. By morning, it had reached 5 million and was trending globally. The algorithm I had helped build was doing exactly what it was designed to do, recognizing substance and connecting it with the viewers who would value it most. Among the thousands of comments, one caught my attention from a new account named JR_NewStart. You were right about quality over shortcuts. Some of us learned the hard way. I never confirmed if it was actually Jackson, but I like to think he'd finally understood what I had been trying to explain years ago in our shared apartment. True success comes not from gaming systems, but from creating genuine value. 2 years after the full implementation of Viral Core's algorithm across YouTube, the online video landscape had transformed. Educational content flourished alongside entertainment. Creator burnout decreased as the pressure for daily uploads to stay relevant diminished. Viewers reported higher satisfaction with their recommended content. At Viral Core's headquarters, a converted warehouse with nods to creator culture throughout its design, I hosted a group of computer science students for our new internship program. The algorithm you'll be working with isn't perfect, I told them as we toured the development floor. We're constantly refining it, learning from creator and viewer feedback. That's the key lesson I hope you'll take from your time here. Technology should serve human creativity, not restrict it. A young woman raised her hand, excitement evident in her expression. Is it true that you built the first version of the algorithm just to prove your former partner wrong? I smiled, remembering those nights of coding fueled by determination after losing my channel. Not exactly. I built it because I believed in something he couldn't see, that quality deserves visibility, that algorithms can recognize value beyond clickbait, and that viewers are smarter than most platforms give them credit for. As the tour continued, my phone lit up with a calendar notification. Original channel anniversary, 8 years. Despite everything that had happened, losing the channel, building Viral Core, transforming the industry, I still marked the date when Jackson and I had uploaded our first video together. That evening, I recorded a simple video at my desk. No special effects, no elaborate setup, just honest reflection. 8 years ago today, I uploaded my first YouTube video, believing that sharing knowledge could change lives. I had no idea how true that would be, though not in the way I expected. Sometimes losing what you thought you wanted leads you to what you were meant to create. I uploaded it without overthinking the title or thumbnail, trusting the system I had helped build to connect it with the right viewers. Within hours, creators around the world began responding with their own stories of setbacks that led to unexpected opportunities. The video became more than content. It became a conversation about resilience, purpose, and the true definition of success. And somewhere in that global discussion was the answer to the question that had driven me since Jackson locked me out of our channel. What if the algorithm actually valued what matters? The next morning, a package arrived at my office. Inside was an old external hard drive and a note. You should have these, the original files from our channel. Maybe they'll mean something to you. Jay. I plugged it in, finding all our early videos, planning documents, and behind-the-scenes footage, digital artifacts from the beginning of a journey neither of us could have predicted. I didn't reach out to Jackson, some chapters close for a reason, but I did extract clips from our very first video and incorporated them into Viral Course Company history presentation, acknowledging that even difficult beginnings can be part of important stories. Sometimes the most engaging content isn't about perfect endings, but about the messy, complicated process of creation itself, algorithms and humans alike learning as they go.